While it was a successful week 2 for me personally, the Walk That Line segment was not so successful. 7-8 a week ago after a very cold week 1. After, we got off to a hot start. 7-2 with the first 9 games that I had predicted. But then 0-6 for the rest of them. And the late night slate was not very friendly to me. The Oregon, Boise State game, the Liberty, New Mexico State game, not very friendly to me. I did, however, have a good handful of makeups. I really made big off of a handful of plays. BYU money line on Friday night was very easy, and I parlayed that as well. Played that separately, but also parlayed it with Duke money line, and that hit big. I also hit an NFL. In NFL with the Packers and Eagles on Friday night. And then coming on Saturday, I was able to hit big with Idaho money line against Wyoming, parlayed with Iowa State over Iowa and Ohio over South Alabama. And then also same game parlay with Ohio State that I sprinkled here with Ohio State minus 37.5, the over, team total over 45.5, and Western Michigan's under of 7.5. That hit, and overall, it was a great day for me, but it wasn't a great day for Walk That Line. So hopefully that luck that I had on a more of a private basis turns to public form this week. We have UNLV in Kansas tonight. I'm taking the under in this ball game. If you look at how this game is going to play out, you got 2 run-heavy offenses, 2 defenses that aren't playing bad football at the moment. And certainly UNLV to me is not going to be overly electrifying on offense tonight. I think that this under is going to safely hit. I think that Kansas will probably win the ball game, but I think that based on both of the teams playing a little bit more ball control, and then sometimes Kansas going a little bit more tempo, I think this under will hit. Illinois minus 19.5, the team that just beat Kansas. I think they're not getting enough respect, and Central Michigan is not a very good opponent. I think they should dispatch of them very easily, though. Illinois, they have struggled with these MAC teams in the past. North Texas, plus 10.5 on the road at Texas Tech. They're going to score a lot. The over-under is set in the high 60s. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't see how Texas Tech gets enough stops to where North Texas cannot cover this spread in this ball game. North Texas's offense is very electrifying with the father-son combination of head coach Eric Morris, son Chandler Morris, slinging that rock at quarterback. I think North Texas covers this. Purdue is plus 7.5 right now. I still like that. I got them at 10.5 actually, but when I made this slide, it was 9.5 against Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame's offense is not really going to score, and Purdue has the skill position speed and the ability to move the football. Don't be surprised if Purdue wins this ball game. We're going to talk about that more in depth in a video I'm going to be making tomorrow. Oregon State plus 16.5, or tonight, by the way, plus 16.5 versus Oregon. I just don't trust Oregon, and Oregon State can really run the football. I don't think they're going to be as effective as Ashton Genty and Boise State were, but I still think they're going to be pretty effective with their 1-2 punch at running back, running the football and using that system that really was still built by Jonathan Smith. Miami, they're going to destroy Ball State by more than 36.5. They're going to beat them by at least 40 minimum. They should beat them somewhere around 59-3. This game is not going to be close. Ball State is not a very good football team. Texas, minus 35.5 against UTSA. UTSA also not a very good football team. Got smoked against Texas State. Struggled with Kennesaw State, who did end up getting beat by Louisiana pretty strongly. A lot of people high on UTSA to start the year, including, quite honestly, me. But I think this squad is kind of tapering off from that run that they were able to go on the last couple of years. Ole Miss, minus 23.5 against Wake Forest, a third straight big favorite. But at the end of the day, I do not see Wake Forest stopping this Ole Miss offense whatsoever. And this Ole Miss defense, they're underrated. They're pretty solid. They're pretty good. watch out for a blowout here in Winston-Salem. Middle Tennessee State, I think they have a good chance to win this game outright. They're still going with their guy at quarterback and TJ Finley when I still think they should take Caden Veltkamp. And if it gets announced that Caden Veltkamp is playing, take the over in this game. But till then, I do not trust TJ Finley. This MTSU offense can really move the football. They're definitely going to be within a touchdown. I think this is going to be a close game. And I actually have Middle Tennessee State pulling it out in the end. Colorado State plus 7.5 against Colorado. I may or may not preview this game, so I will just basically say this. Colorado State's coming in motivated. They're hot. They're fired up. They're ready to go, and they're probably a better team than they were a year ago when they played Colorado to overtime, who's also maybe a better team than they were a year ago talent-wise, but their locker room is a disaster right now. Take Colorado State to cover the points and maybe even money line there. BYU minus 9.5 against Wyoming. Wyoming's terrible. I would say they have a home field advantage here, but BYU plays at altitude as well. Wyoming's not a very good football team, just lost at home to Idaho a week ago, got smoked against an Arizona State team who proved last night that they're not that bad of a football team. But I just don't see Wyoming being able to stick for 4 quarters with this BYU squad. And then finally, we got the Rice-Houston over-under going over 44.5. I think this is set really low because of what Houston has done, but Houston has played some good competition in the first 2 weeks. UNLV is a really good team. I don't want you guys to shake your head at that, but also Oklahoma too. And they held Oklahoma's offense completely in check. And I think that'll be a decent offense this year. And then Rice can also sling that ball around. They could score a little bit. I think this game is probably going to be in the 50s as far as total goes. I'm taking the over in that ball game. That is it for the plays of the week. Just 12 of them this week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope for a better week, like a 9-3. That's really what I'm shooting for, to improve on that record that you saw, which is abysmal, a horrible start. But I got off to a horrible start last year, and it ended up coming out pretty, but above 500, pretty decent. We're still getting better with this. We're still learning, but those are my plays for the week of college football.